Chapter 4138. Rank 5 Universe Venerable Realm Strength? Tianci stood on the arena for the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix. After he announced his strength, all the disciples around him heard it and looked at him in astonishment. The Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix Arena. Everyone on this arena was under 200 million years old. At this age, most of the people on the stage had just stepped into the Universe Venerable Realm. At a glance, there were only a few Rank 3 Universe Venerables. Not to mention a Rank 5 Universe Venerable. There was not a single one of them on the entire stage. Muri Tribe, a Rank 5 Universe Venerable. So strong. He's definitely in the top 3 in our group. That's about right. How did this guy cultivate? Why is his cultivation level so high? Most importantly, he's not from the Deceased Tribe or the Xian Earth Tribe. Wow, his cultivation level is so much higher than ours, right? Some of the youths glanced at Tianci, who stood out like a crane among chickens, with looks of envy and respect. The people on the Hidden Dragon Young Phoenix stage were the top youths of the Six Paths universe. They came from various tribes. Each of them was one of the best in their respective tribes. But now, some were shocked by Tianci. Not bad. To have such strength after cultivating for 90 million years, not bad at all. An old man hovered in the air above the Hidden Dragon Young Phoenix stage. He looked at Tianci and nodded, praising him generously. What? He hasn't even cultivated for 100 million years? No way. He's only half my age and he's already this strong? How terrifying. The surrounding people were shocked when they heard the old man's words. What a surprise. I thought I was invincible in my generation. I didn't expect this brother to be so strong too. Haha, this is interesting. At this moment, a youth flew over from the seat of honor at the very front. Beside him, there were over 100 others. The young man in the middle was 3 meters tall, and his body was filled with explosive muscles. He looked extremely sturdy. He looked at Tianci and laughed. Invincible in your generation? You're Tu Jiangtong of the Mystic Earth Tribe, right? Your strength is not bad, but you are no match for me. Crash! The youths of the Mystic Earth Tribe flew over and landed on the arena where the necromancer's attribute was. The youth in the lead glanced at Tu Jiangtong and Tianci. Neither of you are a match for me. His face was full of confidence and pride. On his neck hung a human head that shone with a black light. The black light shone on his pale face, making him look extremely eerie. You two are so small. I'll send you flying with a slap. When Tu Jiangtong saw the young man flying over, he grinned and shook his head in disdain. Tianci's gaze swept over them. When he heard their words, a smile appeared on his face. 2 Rank 5 Universe Venerables, if they join hands, they can barely fight me. With a wave of his hand, the water in front of him condensed, and a sharp sword appeared in his hand. Tianci said calmly. It was as if he was talking about something very easy. As soon as he finished his words, Tu Jiangtong and the youth from the dead tribe were taken aback and focused their attention on him. I thought I was confident enough. To think that you are even more confident and arrogant than me. Tu Jiangtong stared at Tianci and laughed. He squinted his eyes and walked straight towards Tianci. He looked him up and down and slowly extended his huge palm. Very well, let's get to know each other. Tu Jiangtong walked over and extended his hand as he spoke to Tianci. Tianci smiled and extended his hand for a handshake. All the surrounding youths focused their attention on him. This was obviously a fight between them. A pair of huge palms and a pair of small hands shook hands. Following which, everyone could feel a surge of energy brewing in their palms. Some of the weaker ones could not help but take a step back. Tianci and Tu Jiangtong smiled as they looked at each other. Their physiques did not seem to match. But soon, the smile on Tu Jiangtong's face disappeared. 5 seconds later, he hurriedly pulled his arm out. His huge arm was trembling non-stop. He stared at Tianci with a myriad of expressions on his face. Not bad. Tianci looked at him, smiled and said, Not bad, not bad. It seems like I have to use all my trump cards if I want to defeat you. Tu Jiangtong's expression changed slightly as he spoke to Tianxi solemnly. I'm looking forward to the duel. Tianxi also smiled at him. Ah, great. I'm looking forward to it. That's what makes it interesting. It seems like the first place of our group will be decided between the two of us and this pretty boy. Tu Jiangtong laughed heartily in a forthright manner. Idiot. When the youth from the dead tribe heard the way Tu Jiangtong addressed him, his face darkened as he cursed. Tu Jiangtong didn't pay much attention to him. That Mu Li Tianxi is so handsome. He is not at a disadvantage when facing the two supreme talents from the Xian Tu tribe and the dead tribe. In fact, he even has the upper hand. He's indeed handsome. I didn't expect him to be able to compete with Tu Jiangtong and the rest. Impressive. Some of the youths looked at the three of them and discussed softly. Some of the young girls looked at Mu Li Tianxi with stars in their eyes. He's a little high profile. Muri had been watching Tianxi from below. When she saw this, she frowned slightly and commented, it's a waste of youth if one isn't frivolous. Wang Xian smiled faintly and wasn't bothered at all. This was the temperament that a youth should have. Modest, confident, and proud. A talented youth naturally has to be more flamboyant. Muri Ina's father said with a smile, his face full of joy. You should go to the arena and learn from each other. The cataclysm is coming, and you have to improve your strength. Muri Ina's father said to her, let's see if we can get a good result. I'll give it a try, but I'm afraid it's going to be difficult. There are too many experts. Muri Ina replied. There were many supreme talents in the other arenas. In the supreme talents group, the stronger ones had already reached the pinnacle of the universe supremacy realm. She was still a long way off. However, she could still give it a try. Next, the Sixth Tao Conference officially began. The experts and disciples from the four groups began to fight for the top 1,000 spots. Chapter 4139. The grand competition in the Six Paths universe would last for a long time. In fact, the Six Paths Conference would last for millions of years. Battles between experts would usually take a long time to determine the winner. Moreover, all the experts, disciples, and supreme talents of the Six Paths universe would be participating in the competition. Naturally, it would take longer. Just to select 1,000 candidates would take more than 100,000 years. Besides, the most important thing was that after the top 1,000 were selected, the following competitions would not be held at the same time. For example, the Hidden Dragon and Fledgling Phoenix group would determine the top 500 first, followed by the Supreme Talents group. If they were not held at the same time, the time would naturally be longer. The experts of the various tribes used their energy to form a seat, and they sat there, watching and discussing. Battles between experts were also extremely useful for others to learn from. This was also one of the implications of the Six Paths Conference. Time passed day by day. Wang Xian watched from the lower seats. To Tianxi, it was a piece of cake for him to enter the top 1,000. He could even enter directly. After more than 100,000 years of selection, the official competition began. From the lowest to the highest, the top 500 would be decided from the Hidden Dragon and Fledgling Phoenix group. And this time, Tianxi also had to participate in a battle. Battles were very easy for Tianxi. In fact, when he entered the arena, his opponent immediately surrendered. It couldn't be helped. The difference in their levels was too great. After a duel, Tianxi relaxed and came to Wang Xian's side. Mom has entered the top 1,000 of the Supreme Talents group. I wonder if she can enter the top 500. After the top 500 of the Hidden Dragon and Fledgling Phoenix group, it was time for the Supreme Talents group. Muri Ina entered the top 1,000 and was about to start her first battle. It won't be a problem for your mother to enter the top 500. Wang Xian said to Tianxi. Muri Ina might not be very strong, but the Muri tribe could still be ranked in the top 50 among all the tribes. As for Muri Ina, she could be ranked in the top 3 of her generation in the Muri tribe. It wouldn't be a problem for the top 3 of the top 50 tribes to enter the top 500. Moreover, Wang Xian also sensed that it wouldn't be a problem for Muri Ina enter the top 500. However, it would be more difficult to enter the top 300 from the top 500. It was basically impossible to enter the top 100. The elites and geniuses of the Profound Earth tribe and the Deceased tribe took up a large portion of their forces. There were also some other powerful tribes. Just as Wang Xian had expected, Muri-in entered the top 500 with ease. Next was the battle between the Heaven List group and the War God group. These two levels of competition were all universe ruler level powerhouses. After watching for a while, Tianxi and the others left. It couldn't be helped. He couldn't see their fighting moves at all. Unable to see through their energy. He was completely bewildered. Wang Xian played with Tianxi for a few days before returning to his room to rest. And in the following days, Tianxi made some friends. Perhaps it was because heroes appreciated each other, he became friends with Tu Jiangtong. There were also some young prodigies from other tribes. After all, the youths had a common language. Although Wang Xian wasn't very old, there was still a generation gap between Tianxi and Wang Xian. For the next period of time, Tianxi played with his friends. The competition continued. Time passed quickly. In the second round, Tianxi entered the top 300 with ease. Muri-in barely made it into the top 300 even though she was injured. She probably could only make it this far. Found it. It's really troublesome to find a person at the water source. While the Sixth Tao Conference was being held, at the location of the water source, Bai Kefu Saint and 6 other Sky Origin Creation Realm experts were hiding in a corner of the Muri tribe. Bai Kefu Saint frowned and revealed a faint smile. Last time, he only saw Tianxi's face. It was very difficult to find him among the tens of billions of people in the entire water source with just one face. Moreover, their luck wasn't very good. It took them more than 100,000 years to find him. We found him, but there's a huge problem now. That young man is now participating in the Sixth Tao Conference. The Sixth Tao Conference is a grand competition of the Sixth Tao universe. They are preparing for the cataclysm. The underground city where the Sixth Tao Conference is being held is the main city of the Xian Tu tribe. The 3 Sky Origin Creation Realm experts of the Sixth Tao universe should be watching over there. In addition, the Sixth Tao universe has been on guard against us for hundreds of millions of years because of our entry. The current underground city is definitely a tiger's den. We might be in great danger if we enter it. A Sky Origin Creation Realm expert frowned and said. Bai Kefu Saint fell into deep thought when he heard that. This was indeed a huge problem. A group of Sky Origin Creation Realm experts coveted the Sixth Tao universe's Heaven Origin Creation Realm treasure. The Sky Origin Creation Realm experts of the Sixth Tao universe naturally hated them to the core. They even formed a hunting team to track them down and hunt them down. Especially now that the Sixth Tao's Cosmos was holding the Sixth Tao's convention, the location was the safest place in the entire cosmos. Now that they had entered this place, it was highly likely that they would be discovered and killed as soon as they passed. There's a way that we can try. After a long silence, Bai Kefu Saint looked at them and said, we can spread the news that the Heaven Origin Creation Realm treasure is at the desolate plains and attract the Sky Origin Creation Realm experts of the other universes there. This way, we can disperse some of the combat power at the underground city and the strength of the 3 Sky Origin Creation Realm experts of the Sixth Tao universe. His suggestion made the other 6 Sky Origin Creation Realm experts frown slightly. Undue delay may bring trouble. This is the best way for now. Moreover, we are the only ones who know about the Heaven Origin Creation Realm treasure. Our chances of success are very high. Bai Kefu Saint continued. Alright, let's do it your way. One of the Heavenly Origin Creation Realm experts nodded in agreement. For now, this was the best choice. They could attract the other Sky Origin Creation Realm experts to the desolate plains. They could take the opportunity to enter the underground city. Because they knew about the Heaven Origin Creation Realm treasure, they had a huge advantage. The other Sky Origin Creation Realm experts were still like fishing for a needle in a haystack, but they had a clear goal. The group of 7 discussed for a while and quickly flew in a certain direction. Chapter 4140. There's news that the heaven origin fortune treasure of the Six Paths universe is located in the plains. Is the news reliable? It's not very reliable. This was spread by a heaven origin fortune realm expert. He said that he sensed the existence of the heaven origin fortune treasure and that it is in the plains? Why would he spread this news? That heaven origin fortune realm expert did not hide anything. He said that the Six Paths universe is currently holding a Six Paths conference at the plains and the defense is very strong. If he went there alone, he would be discovered by the heaven origin fortune realm experts of the Six Paths universe. That's why he used this method. What do you think the chances are? 50%. The Six Paths universe is holding the Six Daos meeting in the desolate plains. Perhaps, the Six Paths universe's experts have also sensed that the heaven origin fortune treasure is in the desolate plains, so they purposely held the Six Daos meeting in the desolate plains to gather their forces to search for it. Furthermore, the heaven origin fortune realm expert who spread the news might have already known the location of the heaven origin fortune treasure and wanted us to go there to share the power of the Six Paths universe. That's a possibility. Even if it's only 50%, we can't give up. We must go and take a look. Alright, I guess all the heaven origin fortune realm experts in the Six Paths universe will head to the plains. It's been 100 million years, no one will give up this chance. At the same time, somewhere in the Six Paths universe, two heaven origin fortune realm experts were having a discussion. After discussing for a while, they flew directly in the direction of the tundra. At the same time, in other parts of the Six Paths universe, many heaven origin fortune realm experts also headed towards the plains. Almost 70 heaven origin fortune realm experts gathered in the plains. A storm was gradually blowing towards the plains. Time passed day by day. The Six Paths conference continued. Now that the plains was the place where countless experts and disciples of the Six Paths universe gathered, its defense was naturally strong. Almost half of the top forces of the Six Paths universe were gathered here. Among them, two heaven origin fortune realm experts had been guarding the skies above the plains. When the heaven origin fortune realm experts entered the plains, they were immediately discovered by the experts of the Six Paths universe and the heaven origin fortune realm experts. A war broke out. The heaven origin fortune realm experts could still hold their ground against the Six Paths universe's peak universe lord realm experts. Once they encountered the Six Paths universe's Tian Yuan, they could only run for their lives. The powerful defense of the Tianyuan plane made some of the fortune realm experts speculate that the fortune treasure of heavenly origin might be here. This made them even more unwilling to give up on this place. This caused the entire plains to be stirred up. However, the changes on the plains did not cause any commotion in the underground city. Sky origin creation realm experts had yet to set foot in the underground city. Currently, the underground city was the safest place in the entire plains. The competition continued. In the fourth round, 150 of the 300 contestants entered. In this battle, Tianxi still easily entered the top 150. However, in this competition, Mu Liyin stopped at this battle. He was defeated by his opponent. Later on, when he challenged it, he was not able to succeed and was ultimately defeated. It's over, it's over. It seems like the first place of our young phoenix of Hidden Dragon group is going to go to you, Tianxi. You're too monstrous. You fought me 3 times in a row, and I've lost all of them. In a sparring field in the underground city, a group of more than 30 youths stood on an arena. Among them, the 3-meter-tall, burly Tu Jiangtong stood in the middle, looking at the figure in front of him helplessly. In front of him was naturally Tian Ci. Not far away, Gui Sanqian was also looking at Tianxi with a frown. Then, he shook his head with a hint of helplessness on his face. Gui Sanqian was the strongest among the youths of the dead tribe. When the three of them met for the first time, they appreciated each other and had a common topic to talk about, so they walked together. Hundreds of thousands of years had passed. Although they had participated in many competitions, they had never met each other. This made their hands itch. Some of them were young and impetuous, and none of them was willing to submit to the other. Therefore, they had come to duel privately. However, they had fought 3 times in a row, and Tianxi had won every time, completely suppressing Tu Jiangtong and Gui Sanqian. This made the two of them look helpless. Hee, thank you for letting me win. Why don't you join forces next time? I'll see how far you can push me. Tianxi cupped his hands at him and said with a smile. Tianxi, are you looking down on us? How much of your strength did you use when you fought Tu Jiangtong just now? Gui Sanqian was speechless when he heard Tianxi's words and asked. 40%. Tianxi smiled faintly. 40%? Only 40%? Ever since I was born, my grandfather has been teaching me. You should know that my grandfather is a ninth-order universe sovereign realm expert. Coupled with the treasures in my hands, I can even fight above my realm sometimes. How can I be weaker than you? Tu Jiangtong's eyes widened as he spoke. I also have an expert teaching me. I really don't know how a guy like you can be so monstrous. Gui Sanqian shook his head and said helplessly. Hee, you have experts teaching you, but I also have my foster father teaching me. My foster father is very powerful. Tianxi smiled faintly when he heard their words, and a proud look appeared on his face. What a joke! He knew that his foster father was an expert at the heavenly Yuan creation stage. The heaven origin creation realm experts had always taught him, so how could he not be a match for them? In fact, if he were to display his true strength, he could scare them to death. Tianxi snickered in his heart. Amazing, Tianxi. You're really amazing. Looks like you're going to be our champion. At the side, a girl flew to Tianxi's side with eyes full of love, looking at him with a pair of bright eyes full of admiration. The girl was about 1.65 meters tall. She wasn't very tall, and her hair was tied up in a ponytail. She was filled with youthful cuteness. No. Who knows, some of us might be hiding our strength. Tianxi scratched his head and revealed a shy smile when he saw the girl. That's not fair. The prettiest Gongqing Miao Miao actually likes this guy. Damn it, I'm a little envious. Tu Jiangtong's mouth twitched when he saw this scene. He was a little jealous. Big brother Tu Jiangtong, don't even think about it. My sister will never like you. Tianxi and my sister are a match made in heaven. They're a perfect match. At the side, a young man said with a smile. Chapter 41-41. Shao Air, don't talk nonsense. Gongqing Miao Miao blushed when she heard her brother. She turned around and glared at him. Alright, I won't talk. The young man chuckled when he saw his sister scolding him. Sigh, I can't be envious. What a winner in life. Gui Sanqian looked at them and smiled. The first place this time should be Tianxi. He shouldn't be able to escape. Tianxi is really impressive, especially his swordsmanship. It's really terrifying. Even I felt chills down my spine when I watched from the side. The surrounding young men crowded over and commented to Tianxi with smiles. It's all thanks to my godfather. Tianxi replied with a smile. No, it's Tianxi who is talented. If it were someone else, they wouldn't be as impressive as you. Gongqing Miao Miao bit her head. No, without my godfather, I wouldn't be here today. Tianxi looked at Gongqing Miao Miao and shook his head seriously. My godfather watched me grow up and taught me many things. Oh? Then your godfather must be really impressive. Gongqing Miao Miao tilted her head and asked with a smile. Yes, I'll bring you to meet my godfather if there's a chance. Tianxi replied with a smile. Sure. Gongqing Miao Miao replied with a smile. Let's find a chance then. Tianxi nodded. Alright. Stop showing off your love. Let's go. I'll bring you to a fun place in the underground city today. Tu Jiangtong said loudly. The group of them smiled and flew out. Time passed, day by day. Miss Marie, are you around? Wang Xian wandered around the underground city for a long time and sat in his room feeling bored. On this day, a voice suddenly came from outside the cave. Wang Xian didn't pay much attention to the voice. Wang. But at this time, he received a message from Tianxi. Seeing this information, a smile appeared on his face. He stood up and walked out. I'm sorry, I don't have time. Miss Marie, you have rejected me 10 times. You can't reject me anymore. Let's just have a simple meal. That's right. It's not a big deal to have a meal. Moreover, we'll be with you. When Wang Xian walked out, he immediately saw a burly young man conversing with 3 girls. Among them was Muri Ying. Wang Xian took a glance, nodded to Muri Ying, and continued walking out. When he arrived at a restaurant that Tianxi had informed him about, he walked over to a private room on the top floor. Foster father. Just as they arrived at the door, Tianxi opened the door and shouted at Wang Xian with a smile. Seeing Tianxi's reaction, Wang Xian nodded his head with a smile and looked inside. Inside, Gong Cheng Miao Miao lowered her head slightly. However, she looked up and shouted at Wang Xian shyly. Hee kid, you have a good eye. Wang Xian took a look at Gong Cheng Miao Miao, patted him on the shoulder and walked in. Hee, adoptive father, let me introduce to you. This is Miao Miao, Gong Cheng Miao Miao, also from our water source, the Jiuhe tribe. Miao Miao, this is my godfather that I told you about. Tianci introduced Wang Xian and the rest. Miss, you're right. Apart from this meeting, I don't have anything else. Just a simple protective talisman. Wang Xian looked at Gong Cheng. With a wave of his arm, an amulet floated in front of her. Thank you, uncle. Gong Cheng Miao Miao quickly sensed it but did not put it away immediately. Instead, he looked at Tianxi. Take it. Godfather treats me very well. Tianxi squinted at Gong Cheng and smiled. Why don't you call your mother over? Wang Xian sat down and asked Tianxi with a smile. Hee, foster father, since I don't dare to tell my mother, I'll tell you first. Tianxi giggled. Wang Xian chuckled. He looked at Gong Cheng and sensed for a while. With the strength of a level 4 universe venerable, Gong Cheng Miao was considered one of the top geniuses of his generation. Wang Xian was very satisfied with her sweet and pretty looks. In addition, the Jiuhe tribe was also a big tribe, much more powerful than the Muley tribe. Although the Jiuhe tribe didn't have a divine origin creation realm powerhouse. But at the water source, the Jiuhe tribe was the strongest existence. Among all the tribes, it could be ranked in the top 5. There were many pinnacle universe lords in the tribe. Tianxi had a girlfriend, which made Wang Xian very happy as an old father. It was not a bad idea to take advantage of the time he had now to enjoy himself. Wang Xian had a meal with them. After chatting for a few hours, he left. There was still a generation gap with the younger generation. Wang Xian continued his peaceful life. Occasionally, he would watch Tianxi's matches. But he remained in his room. As for Tianxi's match, it was time for the top 10. On this day, Tianxi's match had just ended. Wang Xian stayed in his room and practiced Tianyuan swordsmanship. He was helping the Void Divine Dragon body to comprehend. Foster father, foster father. Suddenly, an extremely anxious voice came from outside. Wang Xian opened his eyes and revealed a shocked expression. He waved his arm and opened the door. Outside the door, Tianxi was extremely anxious and his eyes were a little red. Foster father, my mother is injured. She's seriously injured. Tianxi said to Wang Xian in panic. His voice was a little choked. What's the situation? Wang Xian focused his eyes and asked Tianxi. Muri Yin had been eliminated from the competition. In the underground city, fighting and killing were prohibited. How could Muri Inu be injured? I don't know the exact situation. My mother's injuries are very serious. Foster father, come and take a look at her. Tianxi pulled Wang Xian's arm and said anxiously. It's okay. Don't worry. I'm here. Wang Xian patted Tianxi's arm and said to him. But Tianxi nodded. He knew his foster father's identity and some of his means. As long as she wasn't completely destroyed, she could be treated. Wang Xian followed Tianxi to a room not far away. In the room, Muri Inu's parents and brothers were all inside. Grandpa, let me take a look at my mother. Let me take a look at her. Tianxi led Wang Xian into the room and said loudly to his grandpa. Okay. At this moment, Tianxi's grandpa nodded with a gloomy face before the bed. Although her injuries are a little serious, it's not life-threatening. Tianxi's grandpa glanced at Wang Xian and said, Let me treat her. Wang Xian nodded. He walked to the bed and sensed Muri Ina's injuries. Chapter 41-42. Wang. Wang Xian sat beside Muri Ina's bed and placed his palm on her body. Energy flowed into her body and healed her internal injuries. Muri Ina's injuries were so severe that her life was in danger. However, Muri Ina's father was a fifth-order universe lord. He had saved her life with his energy. As long as Muri Ina was still alive, the treatment would be much easier. Muri Ina's injuries were recovering at a terrifying speed. Her vitality was also getting stronger. Before long, her internal injuries were completely healed. With Wang Xian's strength, it was a piece of cake for him to heal a universe lord. Godfather, is she all right? Tianxi asked anxiously when he saw Wang Xian retract his arm. She's fine now. Don't worry. Wang Xian patted his shoulder and stood up. Huh. Muri Ina's eyebrows twitched and her face was rosy again. She looked at the people around her and quickly sat up. Mother, are you all right? Tianxi asked with concern. I'm fine. My injuries have all disappeared. Muri Ina shook her head and looked at Wang Xian. Thank you, Mr. Wang Xian, for your treatment. It's just a small problem. Wang Xian shook his head. Your injuries are very serious. The other party wanted to cripple you completely. Fighting and killing are prohibited in the underground city. I don't know, Wang Xian asked. Muri Ina's father and brother stared at him angrily. They had sensed Muri Ina's injuries just now. It was very serious. It could be said that she was on her last breath. Moreover, Muri Ina was sent here by someone. They didn't know the exact situation. I was in a duel with someone in the arena. That's why I'm so badly injured. Muri Ina sat up and her expression changed. Who did you duel with? Why did you duel with someone? Muri Ina's mother asked quickly. Mother, it's someone from the Xuanta tribe. Muri Ina whispered. Little sister, you're talking about Liao Feiyu? That guy has been pestering you every day. Now he even injured you. This is outrageous. One of Muri Ina's brothers said angrily. It's not him. It's his sister. Forget it. Muri Ina shook her head and said, Mom, we can't just let it go like this. They actually dared to hit you. I want to seek justice for you. Tianxi, who was standing aside, said angrily. Forget it. This is a duel in the arena, and the opponent is the Profound Earth tribe. Muri Ina shook her head at him and looked at her parents and brother. Mom, Dad, I don't have anything to do now. Let's just forget about it. Muri Ina's father's expression changed. Tianxi, I'm fine. Train hard and try to get first place. Muri Ina stood up and patted Tianxi's head. Okay, Mom. Tianxi saw that his mother didn't want to tell him anything, so he could only nod helplessly. Let's go and let your mother rest for a while. Wang Xian patted Tianxi as he spoke to him. Tianxi nodded his head and left with Wang Xian. Godfather, we can't just let the matter of my mother go like this. Tianxi looked at Wang Xian with determination in his eyes as he walked out of the room. Of course we can't just let it go like this. Wang Xian looked at him and continued, Your mother was severely injured by someone. Naturally, we have to seek revenge. Not only that, we have to make them pay a terrible price. Do you still remember what I told you before? We don't offend others. But if someone offends us or our kin, we have to make them pay 100 times the price. Tianxi clenched his fists and continued. That's right. Wang Xian nodded his head. I've already sent Qilin Bull to investigate this matter. There will be news soon. Thank you, Godfather. Tianxi thanked Wang Xian gratefully. You're welcome. We don't have many peaceful days left. Wang Xian looked at him and said. Tianxi was taken aback when he heard Wang Xian. He looked at Wang Xian with doubts. Qilin Bull is back. Let's go to my room. Wang Xian didn't tell Tianxi the details of the situation as he led him to his room. Although Wang Xian and the rest had been staying in the Earth City, he still had some understanding of the situation outside. In particular, Wang Xian had received a piece of news previously. The news came from other Sky Yuan creation realm experts in the Nine-Source universe. In the group chat of other Sky Yuan Creation Realm experts, they were discussing the Six Paths Universe's Sky Yuan Creation Realm treasure. Now, there was news that the Sky Yuan Creation Realm treasure was located in the plains of the Six Paths Universe. After Wang Xian received this news, he had some guesses. This news must have been spread by that Radiant Sky Yuan Creation Realm expert. As for the motive, it was probably Tianxi. Therefore, Tianxi didn't have many peaceful days left. It wouldn't be long before he was completely exposed. Boss. When they entered the room, Qilin Bull was already waiting there. What's the exact situation? Wang Xian asked. Boss, it's like this. Recently, a young man named Liao Feiyu from the Black Earth tribe has fallen in love with Tianxi's mother. However, his mother has rejected him many times. Liao Feiyu's sister got wind of this news. His sister also knew about Tianxi's mother's identity and situation. Because she was very dissatisfied with him, she caused trouble twice. This time, she even provoked him into the arena and severely injured him. Qilin Bull reported. A genius young man from the Black Earth tribe had taken a fancy to Muri Yin. However, he was rejected by Muri Yin. After being discovered by his sister and learning about Muri Yin's identity and situation, she was very displeased. She scolded Muri Yin for not being worthy of her brother. Therefore, she taught Muri Yin a lesson and severely injured her. My mother clearly didn't provoke them at all. How could they be so overboard? Tianxi was enraged when he heard this. He shouted with a cold expression. Liao Feiyu's elder sister is called Liao Feiyan. They are both top rankers in the 6 Dao Convention's chosen group. Currently, they are in the top 10. Both of them are at the peak of the universe supremacy realm. Qilin Bull continued. When Wang Xian heard the details, he nodded his head slightly. Pinnacle of the universe supremacy realm? Tianxi's eyes narrowed when he heard this. Other than that, the Black Earth tribe is divided into 4 major clans. The Liao clan is one of them. Their elders are also experts in the Liao clan. They have great authority, Qilin Bull added. Chapter 41-43. Godfather, do you want me to sneak an attack on them? Tianxi looked at Wang Xian when he heard Qilin Bull. The enemy who bullied his mother was stronger than Tianxi. Unless Tianxi could remove the seal in his body. However, even if he got rid of it, he would be able to defeat and even kill his mother's enemies. However, the Black Earth tribe would definitely take revenge and punish him. What would he do then? Therefore, if he wanted to take revenge, he would have to do it secretly. On the surface, he wasn't qualified. At least not if his godfather didn't do anything. Your mother was bullied. As her son, I naturally have to take action personally. This is your responsibility and the spirit of a man. However, if your identity is exposed later, your life will be more peaceful. Wang Xian looked at him and said, Godfather, my mother gave birth to me and raised me. She's the closest person to me and someone I'll protect for life. Now that she's injured, I'll avenge my mother even if my life isn't peaceful in the future. Tianxi looked at Wang Xian and said firmly, I also want you to lead an ordinary life. Wang Xian looked at him and said plainly, once your identity is exposed, you will have to leave this place with me. Leave the 6 Paths universe and go to another universe. If that's the case, your life will be greatly affected. You are still young and have yet to see some of the sights of life. Godfather doesn't wish for you to grow up too quickly. After watching Tianxi grow up for nearly 100 million years, he had already treated him as his own son. Although parents hoped that their son could grow up as soon as possible, but parents hoped that their son could grow up happily every day. They couldn't possibly let him follow him into the chaos to search for treasures before he could enjoy too much prosperity, right? Let him live in the chaos for hundreds of millions of years in an instant. As parents, they naturally didn't want their children to live such a life. Especially when they were young. Then, Godfather, what should I do? Tianxi asked as he looked at Wang Xian. We don't have much time. Delay as much as you can. I also have some things to check out. Next, I'll raise your water attribute strength to the pinnacle of the universe supremacy realm. At that time, you can take revenge in the same way you did in the arena. Wang Xian said to Tianxi, Godfather, you can raise my strength to the pinnacle of the universe supremacy realm? When Tianxi heard Wang Xian, he widened his eyes in disbelief. Of course I can, especially since your wood attribute has already reached the fourth order universe sovereign realm. With your wood attribute as a foundation, I can even help you raise it to the fourth order universe sovereign realm. Of course, this is because I also possess the wood attribute. If other divine origin creation realm experts want to forcefully raise someone's cultivation, they would need to possess this attribute, said Wang Xian to Tianxi. I've only reached the fifth order universe venerable realm after cultivating so hard for such a long time. If I have your help, doesn't that mean I don't need to cultivate and my realm will rise directly? Tianxi said speechlessly. Sure, but this kind of life will not be complete. Wang Xian chuckled and said, You still have to cultivate when you should. All right, foster father, you're doing this for my own good. Whatever you say. Tianxi's expression changed and he said helplessly. Next, I'll help you raise your strength to the peak of the universe supremacy realm, so that you have the strength to take revenge. As for the arena challenge, if you can drag it out for as long as you can. Wang Xian said to him for the last time. Subsequently, he placed his palm on Tianxi's body, and a majestic wave of water attribute energy entered his body. Tianxi's aura was rising rapidly. Divine origin creation realm experts could help the weak break through forcefully. All divine origin creation realm experts could do it. In the nine-source universe, if a peak of the universe supremacy realm expert was stuck in the same realm, a divine origin creation realm expert could help him break through easily. Of course, helping him break through the shackles would still consume some energy, and this consumption would need to be replenished by his own cultivation. Even divine origin creation realm experts would not do such things often. However, Wang Xian now had the progenitor tree, and his recovery speed was terrifying. Although it would still consume energy to help the weak break through the shackles, it would be much faster and simpler to recover. When the energy surged into Tianxi's body, his realm began to rise rapidly. In particular, his wood attribute had already reached the fourth order universe sovereign realm. Therefore, it was very easy for him to absorb and accept the energy. In just a few hours, Tianxi's strength had reached the peak of the universe supremacy realm. This speed of improvement could be described as terrifying. Alright, with the strength of the peak of the universe supremacy realm, you can basically be invincible below the universe sovereign realm. Wang Xian said to Tianxi, As for how you are going to avenge your mother, you can decide for yourself. Thank you, Godfather. You are simply too good to me. Thank you, Godfather. Tianxi could feel the energy in his body, and he couldn't help but grin excitedly at Wang Xian. Wang Xian patted his head and gestured for him to go about his business. Tianxi walked out of the room, his eyes sparkling as he pondered about how he was going to avenge his mother. This matter was no small matter to any child. If not for his godfather being around, if not for his godfather being an expert, if not for his mother, it would probably take hundreds of millions of years for her to recover completely. After all, the Muley tribe couldn't possibly consume a large amount of treasures to treat a disciple at the universe supremacy realm. With such heavy injuries, one could imagine how ruthless the other party was. He was completely intent on crippling the other party. Fortunately, his godfather was around. If not, what else could Tianxi do? But now that he had the strength and his godfather behind him, he would make the guy who hurt his mother pay 100 times the price. Liao Fian, Liao Feiyu. Tianxi murmured coldly. He moved and immediately flew towards the arena. The competition for the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group had just ended, and the ongoing competition was for the Outstanding Talents group. Liao Fian and Liao Feiyu were currently at the arena. The other party had hurt his mother in the arena. Then he would return the favor. Seems like I'm going back soon. In the room, Wang Xian's gaze penetrated the wall and looked at Tianxi's figure. If Tianxi was lucky this time, he might be able to hide for hundreds of thousands of years. If he was unlucky, he would be exposed. So be it. I'm here. Wang Xian chuckled and stood up. Chapter 41-44. The last spot for the top 10 of the Outstanding Talents group is about to be revealed. It's about to be revealed. It's obvious that Kong Chunyu is much stronger. She's suppressing him in all aspects. Kong Chunyu from the deceased tribe is still strong. I feel that he's the strongest in the Outstanding Talents group. After all, he can summon 3 corpses of Pinnacle Universe supremacies for battle. Together with his own strength, it's 4 against 1. The disciples with the deceased attribute are all very strong. Summoning corpses for battle can totally outnumber him. If I'm not wrong, Kong Chunyu will be in first place. The second place should also be from the deceased tribe. As the 6 Dao conference continued, countless experts and disciples from the surrounding 6 Dao cosmos were watching. Basically, the Prodigy group and the Heaven List group were the 2 groups with the most viewership and discussion. The disciples in the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group were weaker and younger. Hence, they received less attention. As for the War God group, 99% of the experts and disciples couldn't see their battles. In other words, when 2 experts were fighting, most of the disciples couldn't see their moves and couldn't tell who was stronger. Only in the Outstanding Talents group, most of the disciples could understand and participate in the discussion. Swish swish. Tian Ci flew over from his residence and looked at the arena with sparkling eyes. He looked around and finally fixed his eyes on the seat of honor. He stared at a young man and then the girl beside him. His eyes revealed a cold look. Liao Fian. He gritted his teeth and spat out 3 words. Tian Ci stood there quietly, waiting for the battle to end in the arena. Not far behind Tian Ci, Wang Xian's figure gradually appeared. He condensed into a chair and sat there with a calm look. He looked at everything with indifference. The battle in the arena didn't take long to end. Kong Chunyu had won the battle easily. The selection of the top 10 of the Outstanding Talents group had also entered the final stage. All top 10 of the Outstanding Talents group, please come to the arena. Now, if there's anyone who isn't convinced, you can challenge them. As long as you succeed, you'll be in the top 10. An old man hovered above the arena and spoke to all the disciples. This was the rule of the 6 Dao conference. As long as one was strong enough, even if the top 10 had already been selected, one could still challenge them. Once the challenge was successful, one could take their place. There weren't many such challenges, but they weren't few either. Hearing the old man's words, Tianxi's calm eyes emitted a cold luster. He had been waiting for this moment. I want a challenge. As soon as the old man's voice fell, Tianxi's body moved and he directly flew towards the arena. He landed in front of the arena and glared at Liao Fian with a murderous look in his eyes. Tian Ci's sudden flight and challenge caused everyone in the surroundings to be taken aback. Their faces were filled with astonishment. What's going on? Who is that person? That's Mu Li Tianxi from the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group. He's known as the strongest youth in the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group. He's extremely talented. What's going on? What is he doing? He wants to challenge us? Why would he participate in the Prodigy group's battle? He's only a 5th Order Universe Venerable, but the top 10 of the chosen group are all Pinnacle Venerables. What is Mu Li Tianxi doing? It's Tianxi. What is he trying to do? When all the experts and disciples in the surroundings saw Tianxi suddenly flying over, their faces were filled with astonishment and shock. Even the old man on the arena and the top 10 disciples of the chosen group looked at Tianxi in astonishment. However, Liao Fian's eyes turned cold when she saw the murderous look in Mu Li Tianxi's eyes. She looked embarrassed. Mu Li Tianxi, Liao Fian, my mother didn't offend you, but you injured her severely. I want to challenge you to a duel, dead or alive. The old man on the arena knew who Tianxi was. He frowned and said. However, before he could finish his sentence, Tianxi's cold voice was heard. His words once again caused everyone to be slightly stunned. This is Mu Li Tianxi's mother? Mu Li Tianxi's mother is also a member of the chosen group, but she has been eliminated. What's going on? I don't know, but Mu Li Tianxi wants to have a life and death duel with Liao Fian? Isn't he courting death? The surrounding experts and disciples were shocked and gossipy when they saw the sudden turn of events. Humph, a reckless guy dares to challenge me? You're not qualified. Get out. Liao Fian looked at Tianxi and said coldly, Mu Li Tianxi, this is the six-path competition. Don't mess around. Get out. The old man on the arena frowned and warned Tianxi. Tianxi, get down now. Tianxi, get down. Some elders and disciples of the Muri tribe were also there. When they saw this scene, their expressions changed drastically and they hurriedly shouted at Tianxi. Now that Tianxi was shining brightly in the six-path competition, it would be a great loss to the Mu Li tribe if anything happened to him. Head judge, the rules of the six-path competition didn't say that I can't challenge the members of the chosen group. Since I chose to challenge them, I will bear the consequences myself. Mu Li Tianxi looked at the old man and said, Are you sure you want to bear the consequences yourself? If you want to bear the consequences, it's up to you. It's good to be young and aggressive, but you have to consider your own strength. The old man looked at Tianxi and reminded him calmly. In his opinion, a disciple of the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group challenging the top 10 of the chosen group was a suicidal act. His simple reminder was also a sign of benevolence. If Tianxi really dared to challenge them recklessly, he wouldn't be able to go far, no matter how talented he was. There were many disciples of the chosen group, but only those who could make it to the end could be considered true geniuses. Liao Fian, get out here. Tianxi nodded when he heard the old man's words. His eyes were filled with cold, murderous intent as he glared at Liao Fian. At the front, Liao Fian looked at Tianxi with an embarrassed and cold expression. She hadn't expected that a puny guy from the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group would dare to challenge her. She hadn't expected that the son of the girl whom she had beaten up would dare to challenge her. Reckless bastard, your mother shamelessly seduced my younger brother. Now, a bastard like you still has the cheek to seek revenge on me? Ha! Liao Fian glared at Tianxi as she took a few steps forward. Nonsense. It was Liao Feiyu who pestered my mother. You are trying to invert right and wrong. You deserve to die. Tianxi's eyes reddened when he heard her words. He gritted his teeth and bellowed. Chapter 41-45. Liao Fian's words had completely ignited Tianxi's anger. It was Liao Feiyu who was pestering his mother, but now she was saying that it was his mother who was pestering his brother. His heart was burning with anger, and his eyes were filled with coldness. Oh! The top 10 disciples of the Sky Pride group who were standing around Liao Fian raised their eyebrows. They moved and flew out of the arena. Liao Feiyu's face was pale and his expression kept changing. There seems to be some gossip. Liao Feiyu? What's going on? And why did Liao Fian call Mu Li Tianxi a bastard? In the surroundings, all the experts and disciples of the tribes watched this scene, their eyes filled with confusion and curiosity. Gossip was always attractive no matter where it was. I need to confuse right and wrong. A bastard without a father, I will give you 1 second to disappear from my sight. Otherwise, don't blame me for bullying you. Liao Fian stared at Tianxi disdainfully and said coldly. Tianxi's body trembled slightly when he heard her vicious words. He slowly raised his head, and a water elemental sword appeared in his hand. He stared at Liao Fian, his eyes filled with violent murderous intent. Swoosh! The next moment, he charged at Liao Fian without any hesitation. Courting death. A kid with less than 100 million years of cultivation dares to challenge Sister Fian? He must be tired of living. This kid named Mu Li Tianxi is really tired of living. He thinks he is strong in the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group, so he wants to challenge the experts in the Sky Pride group? Is this kid a bastard without a father? Interesting. It seems that Liao Feiyu would not pester a woman with a child. Of course. Liao Feiyu is the top Sky Pride of our Six Paths universe. Why would he pursue such a woman? The woman must have tried to seduce Liao Feiyu, but Liao Fian found out. How dare a kid challenge a disciple of our Xian-Tu tribe? The moment Tianxi made his move, the experts and disciples of the other tribes began to discuss among themselves. Especially the experts and disciples of the Xian-Tu tribe. They watched this scene coldly and disdainfully. How dare a disciple of a small tribe challenge an elite of the Xian-Tu tribe? He must be tired of living. Oh no. When the elders and disciples of the Muley tribe saw this scene, their expressions changed greatly. They glanced at the arena with worried faces and quickly looked around. Mr. Wang Xian, Tianxi, an elder flew to Wang Xian's side anxiously and spoke to him. Don't worry. Wang Xian waved his hand and interrupted him. He looked at everything calmly. But the elder of the Muley tribe opened his mouth, and his face was extremely embarrassed. It wasn't easy for their Muley tribe to have such a stunning disciple. If something were to happen to him, it would be a huge loss for their Muley tribe. Boom. However, at this moment, a loud explosion suddenly sounded from the arena. The elder of the Muri tribe hurriedly looked forward. All the surrounding disciples were also staring at the arena. What? How is this possible? However, in the next moment, incomparably shocked exclamations rang out from the surroundings. In the seats of honor, the experts and disciples of the Xian-Tu tribe and the deceased tribe watched this scene in shock. How could this be possible? Tianxi stood in the center of the arena. In front of him was a headless corpse. Her head was a short distance away from him. At this moment, the corpse's eyes were still wide open, filled with disbelief. At this moment, Liao Fian couldn't react at all. After Tianxi made his move, she still had a contemptuous attitude. It was only when she sensed that Tianxi's speed had exceeded her expectations that she reacted. However, it was too late. Tianxi's strength was currently at the pinnacle of the universe supremacy realm. As for his actual strength, he had already reached the fourth-order universe sovereign realm. He possessed reaction and senses that far exceeded those at the same level. Under such circumstances, he still had the sword technique that Wang Xian had taught him. Tianyuan sword technique, the most elite sword technique in the universe. In addition, he had Wang Xian's guidance over the past 100 million years. Tianxi himself possessed the strength to be unrivaled among those at the same level. Now that Liao Fian had underestimated her opponent, she couldn't react at all. Hence, this was the outcome today. Swish. While everyone was in a state of shock, the referee was also in a state of shock. Tianxi waved the sharp sword in his hand and slashed at Liao Fian's head and body again. Pinnacle Universe Venerables, if their heads were taken, they wouldn't die immediately. In the arena, the act of killing one's opponent was not allowed. Otherwise, he would be severely punished. However, Tianxi didn't plan to kill them all. But even if he didn't destroy them, he would still make them pay a terrible price. With a sweep of the sharp sword, Liao Fian's corpse was instantly obliterated, turning into flesh and blood without the slightest trace of life. The sword light swept across her head. Her eyes, tongue, ears, as well as most of her vitality, were all obliterated. There was only a trace of life force in it. If Muri In-er's injuries needed hundreds of millions of years to recover, or even a lifetime to recover, then Muri In-o would not be able to recover. Liao Fian's injuries, on the other hand, could not be healed without a top-grade treasure or a heavenly origin creation stage expert. His injuries were 10 times more serious. This was the heaven-sent revenge. And this was just the beginning. Tianxi decided that if there was a chance, if he could really step into the heavenly origin creation stage, he would come back again. He would come back to take her life personally. He could be humiliated, but his mother could not be harmed. His mother and adoptive father were people he would not allow anyone to harm in his life. Stop! The old referee's expression changed when he saw this. He widened his eyes and looked at Tianxi in disbelief. He instantly landed in front of Liao Fian's remaining head and protected it with a wave of energy. When he sensed it, his expression darkened. There was only a sliver of life left. If he didn't treat her, she would die soon. Senior referee, I won. I was a bit heavy-handed. I'm sorry, but I didn't kill her completely. I'm still young and rash. Tianxi looked at Liao Fian's head, then his gaze fell on the old referee. He bowed to him and spoke. Tianxi also knew that he couldn't kill her now. Whether it was because of his adoptive father or the Muley tribe, he couldn't kill her. But he was already very satisfied with this result. Chapter 41-46. Is this? Dumbfounded, completely dumbfounded. Everyone was dumbfounded by the sudden battle in the arena. Their faces were filled with shock and disbelief as they looked at Tianci, who was standing in the ring. What did they see? What did they see? A young man from the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group, a young man who had cultivated for less than 100 million years, had defeated Liao Fian, who was in the top 10 of the Prodigy group. And it was an instant kill. Liao Fian was a peak universe supremacy expert. A peak universe supremacy expert, the top genius of the Six Paths universe. Although Mu Li Tianci was ranked top in the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group, there was still a huge gap between them. Even the strongest young man in the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group was only a fifth-order universe supremacy. And now, Mu Li Tianci had defeated Liao Fian in an instant? This? How is this possible? How is this possible? How could Mu Li Tianci possess such terrifying strength? How long has he been cultivating? He defeated Liao Fian in an instant? The strength he displayed just now? Such strength at such a young age. Is this real? This can't be real, right? He must have used some kind of treasure. This can't be real, right? All the experts and disciples around the arena were in an uproar. They were all in disbelief. In the entire history of the Six Paths universe, no one could possess such terrifying strength at such a young age. This was completely heaven-defying. Sister. Liao Feiyu was in a daze when he saw this. When he regained his senses, he immediately flew towards Liao Fian and stared at the head that was hanging by a thread. The experts and disciples of the Liao family, who were seated at the upper seats of the Xian Earth tribe, were shocked when they saw this. The scene in front of them was beyond everyone's expectations. A young man from the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group had defeated the top 10 disciples of the Prodigy group in an instant. This was unimaginable. Most importantly, Liao Fian was an elite disciple of the Xian Earth tribe. This was like a slap to the face of the Xian Earth tribe. You are courting death. Liao Feiyu looked at his serious sister, and his expression changed. He stared at Tianci and shouted in a low voice. I am courting death? Liao Feiyu, you harassed my mother some time ago. Then your sister scolded my mother and brought her to the arena, severely injuring her. Now, you accuse my mother of harassing you? He even insulted my mother and me. For a vicious woman like your sister, this kind of ending is still considered light. Despicable bastards like you will have to pay the price. What? You want to avenge your sister? Fine, we'll decide the victor in the arena. However, even if you don't challenge me, I'll challenge you. I'll make you pay the price. Hearing Liao Feiyu's words, Tianci eyes stared at him coldly. Earlier, Liao Fian had insulted him and his mother, causing Tianci's heart to be filled with rage. Looking at Liao Feiyu, his eyes were filled with killing intent. Come, if you're still a man, let's have a duel. Tianci stared at Liao Feiyu and continued to speak. Liao Feiyu's expression changed drastically when he heard Tianci's words. He was stronger than his sister, but there was a limit to his strength. Now that his sister was instantly killed, it would be difficult for him to be Tianci's opponent. Once he was defeated, with Muri Tianci's attack just now, he would definitely be severely injured. What? Your sister is severely injured, and you and I are at the same level, yet you don't dare to accept the challenge? Haha, so this is the Xian Tu tribe's genius? This is the top 10 disciple of the Six Paths Universe's genius group. He doesn't even dare to accept the challenge. What a coward! A coward like you dares to pester my mother? Useless thing. Seeing that Liao Feiyu did not respond, Tianci sneered coldly. His face was full of disdain. Today, he must make Liao Feiyu pay the price. Today, he would fight even if he didn't want to. Damn, he's forcing Liao Feiyu to accept the challenge. Who asked Muri Tianci to be so young? And this time, he's avenging his mother. If Liao Feiyu doesn't accept the challenge, he'll be humiliated. How does Muri Tianci cultivate? How can he be so strong? Now, Liao Feiyu is embarrassed. If he's really pestering Muri Tianci's mother, then he'll be even more shameless. When the experts and disciples of the surrounding tribes saw Tianxi's domineering manner, they were shocked. Who would have thought that this would happen? Who would have thought that Muri Tianxi would hide his strength? Muri Tianxi, the dignity of our Xian Tu tribe is not to be challenged. A Xian Earth tribe universe ruler realm expert frowned as he looked at Tianxi and said coldly, I'm not challenging the dignity of the Xian Tu tribe. Brother Jiang Tong and the others are good people. But when a tribe is big, there will always be scum and trash. The Xian Tu tribe can investigate my mother's matter. If it's because of my mother, I'm willing to punish her. But if it's because of them, will the Xian Tu tribe deal with it fairly? Tianxi looked at the Xian Tu tribe universe lord realm expert and replied calmly, neither servile nor overbearing. When the Xian Tu tribe's universe ruler realm expert heard his words, he raised his brows slightly. He was a little surprised at Tianxi's courage. Neither servile nor overbearing. Purposely hiding his strength and keeping a low profile. If nothing goes wrong, this Muri Tianxi will definitely become an expert in the future. Indeed, if it wasn't for his mother, he wouldn't have exposed his strength. The surrounding experts looked at Muri Tianxi, who was standing proudly on the arena, and commented softly. Our Xian Tu tribe is not a tribe that oppresses others with force. Since you have a grudge, settle it on the arena. Life and death are not a concern. Suddenly, an old man in the seat of honor of the profound Earth tribe coldly looked at all of this and said. His words made Liao Feiyu's eyes narrow. All right, thank you, Lord Xian Tu tribe, for being fair. Tianxi's eyes narrowed as he cupped his hands and said loudly. Feiyu, bring your sister's body over and prepare for battle. Settle the grudge between you two on the arena. Another old man, who was sitting in front of the Xian Earth tribe's seat, said indifferently. Liao Feiyu's face darkened as he carried his sister's head and flew over. Grandpa, Liao Feiyu arrived in front of the old man and opened his mouth to speak. The dignity of the Xian Tu tribe cannot be challenged. Our Liao tribe cannot be provoked by a reckless brat. Kill him. The old man in front of him sent a voice transmission to him. Chapter 41-47, Grandpa, he's very strong. When Liao Feiyu heard his grandfather's words, he replied with an ugly expression. Based on the strength that Mu Li Tianxi had just displayed, he might not be his match. Kill him, go. The old man looked at his grandson and frowned slightly, patting his shoulder as he spoke. At the same time, a blood-red light entered Liao Feiyu's body from his palm. Liao Feiyu instantly felt a majestic energy enter his body, following which he saw a yellow earth hammer enter his bloodstream. The earth hammer contained a powerful might, as though it was about to burst his body. He could feel an endless stream of energy coming from the earth hammer. Feeling the energy in his body, his eyes lit up. This was the Liao clan's bloodline weapon. The so-called bloodline weapon, as the name suggested, was a weapon that could only be used by the Liao clan bloodline. In their Liao clan, there were merely over a dozen of these weapons. Each one was in the hands of the peak experts of the Liao clan. Liao Feiyu's grandfather was an expert of the Xian Earth tribe's Liao clan, a Universe Lord Realm expert. He had hopes of reaching the peak Universe Lord Realm in the future. Because this weapon was a bloodline weapon, as a Liao clan bloodline, he did not need to nourish it and could use it directly. Even if he could only borrow a strand of energy, it was enough. A powerful bloodline weapon could even allow him to fight against a Universe Lord Realm existence. With this weapon, he was 100% sure that he could eliminate that arrogant and egotistical kid. Go! In the surroundings, a few Xian Earth tribe's Liao clan experts looked at Liao Feiyu and spoke faintly. Grandpa, I will definitely eliminate this fella that dared to hurt my sister. Kill him and let him know the consequences of looking down on our Xian Earth tribe. Liao Feiyu's face was filled with killing intent as he spoke. At the side, a few peak Universe Lord Realm experts from the Xian Earth tribe felt this and revealed a faint smile. Although Mu Li Tianxi's talent was monstrous. However, anyone that dared to hurt a top genius of the Xian Earth tribe would have to pay a heavy price. The Xian Earth tribe was very protective. It had been a long time since someone dared to provoke them. So what if he was a genius, a monster? It was still the same sentence. All geniuses that had yet to mature were weaklings. They didn't need to care. At this moment, at the side of the arena, Wang Xian sat on a chair and looked in the direction of the Xuanta tribe. He raised his eyebrows slightly and a cold glint flashed in his eyes. Wang Xian saw everything that they did. Although Liao Feiyu's grandfather's movements were extremely secretive, to the point that apart from the Xian Earth tribe's experts who were closest to him, no other experts had noticed him. However, none of this could be hidden from Wang Xian. A powerful weapon had suddenly appeared in his body. You want to kill Tianxi? Humph, do you really think that you are the only one with a trump card and a backer? Wang Xian murmured softly. A book appeared beneath his feet. The book turned into a stream of water and disappeared. At the same time, Tianxi, who was in the arena, suddenly felt a surge of energy entering his body. Those fellows wanted to cheat and gave him a powerful weapon. It seems like they want to use their trump card and backer to suppress you, Tianxi. Feel this book? The treasure in your body has my aura, so the book will accept you. Tianxi, you can use the energy in the book. If they want to kill you, kill Liao Feiyu directly. I want to see how shameless the Xuanta tribe can be. Subsequently, Tianxi heard Wang Xian's voice transmission. When he heard the news, Tianxi's expression changed slightly. Just now, the experts from the Xuanta tribe had said that they wouldn't use their power to suppress others. He had thought that they were being fair. In the end, they secretly gave Liao Feiyu a powerful treasure to kill him. This was the Xuanta tribe? This was justice. Tianxi's eyes turned colder and colder. If not for his godfather, what could he do? Expose his wood-based strength? Even if he was exposed, it would be a piece of cake for the Xuanta tribe to kill him. At this moment, he felt how weak and insignificant he was. However, Liao Feiyu had his own grandfather and a backer. He, Murray Tianxi, also had a backer. He had a godfather. Brat, how dare you hurt my sister? Today, I'll take your head. I'll let you know the consequences of hurting my sister. At this time, Liao Feiyu's cold voice was heard. He moved and returned to the arena in an instant. He stared at Tianxi with a murderous look. Very well. Today, I'd like to see whether it's you or me who dies. Tianxi stared at Liao Feiyu and said coldly, Damn, is this really going to be a life-and-death battle? The Xuanta tribe didn't stop them. Since both parties are going to have a life-and-death battle, this will be a life-and-death battle. That Mori Tianxi could kill Liao Feiyan in an instant. Will Liao Feiyu be a match for him? Who would have thought that a young man from the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group would have a life-and-death battle with a genius from the Outstanding Talents group? They aren't on the same level at all. Their ages aren't on the same level, but their strength is. Judging from what happened just now, Muri Tianxi seems to be stronger. The surrounding experts and disciples of the various tribes were constantly discussing, their eyes fixed on the arena. At the same time, the news about the arena spread like wildfire to other parts of the underground city and the other tribes. Muri Tianxi of the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group had challenged Liao Feiyan, one of the top 10 geniuses of the Outstanding Talents group, because his mother had been humiliated. Then he had a life-and-death battle with Liao Feiyu in the arena. This news spread like wildfire within the underground city. When everyone saw this news, they were all dumbfounded, and their faces were filled with shock. Bam bam bam. Sister, brother-in-law is going to have a life-and-death battle with Liao Feiyu. Inside the cave where the Johua tribe lived, a young man knocked on the door of a room and shouted in shock and disbelief. Inside the room, Gong Cheng was sitting cross-legged when she heard her brother's voice. She was startled. She waved her arm and opened the door. Sister, something bad has happened. Brother-in-law is in big trouble. The moment the door opened, the young man immediately rushed over and shouted loudly. What happened to Tianxi? Gong Cheng Miao Miao didn't care what her brother had called Tianxi. She stood up quickly and stared at him in shock. Chapter 41-48. Brother-in-law is going to have a death match with Liao Feiyu because of his mother. The battle is about to begin and the news has spread like wildfire in the underground city. In the Jioha tribe's residence, a young man reported to Gong Cheng Miao Miao with an anxious look on his face. Gong Cheng Miao Miao was dumbfounded when he heard this. Tianxi is going to have a death match with Liao Feiyu? Liao Feiyu? She knew of Liao Feiyu, the top genius of the prodigy group. In the Six Paths universe, he was one of the favorites to win the championship. Why would Tianxi want to have a death match with Liao Feiyu? No, I must stop him now. Tianxi is no match for Liao Feiyu. I must stop him now. Gong Cheng Miao Miao's face was filled with panic as he ran outside. Sigh, sister, don't worry. Brother-in-law just killed Liao Feiyu's sister, Liao Fian. Liao Fian is a pinnacle universe supremacy, yet she was killed by brother-in-law. Brother-in-law hid his strength. His strength is also at the pinnacle universe supremacy level. Holy shit, this news has spread like wildfire in the underground city. Brother-in-law hasn't even cultivated for 100 million years, yet he already possesses such terrifying strength. This is heaven-defying. When the young man saw his sister's anxious expression, he hurriedly followed behind and said loudly. He received this news from the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group's chat group. When he heard this news, he was also dumbfounded and filled with disbelief. Now, all the experts and disciples of the tribes had rushed over to watch this death match. They all came to see this young man who had cultivated for less than 100 million years but was already at the pinnacle universe supremacy level. In the entire Six Paths universe, this could be said to be unprecedented and unparalleled. What? Gong Cheng Miao Miao froze when he heard this, but he didn't ask any questions and flew outside immediately. The arena was right outside the cave they were staying in. When he flew out, he saw two figures standing on the arena. In the surroundings, a dense crowd of experts and disciples were rushing over to this side. Holy shit, how is this possible? Brother Tianxi has the strength of a pinnacle universe supremacy. Gong Cheng Miao Miao came to the edge of the arena and heard Tu Jiangtong's exclamation. The experts and disciples who had just arrived were also discussing in shock. Are you ready to die? In the arena, Liao Feiyu stared coldly at Tianxi. His face was filled with murderous intent and confidence. Today, Mu Li Tianxi had humiliated him, and he would make him pay with his life. The one who deserves to die is you. When Tianxi heard Liao Feiyu's words, his face was filled with a cold expression. His palm moved, and with the sharp sword in his hand, he directly attacked. Tianxi, be careful. Below the stage, Gong Cheng Miao Miao shouted anxiously and concernedly when he saw the battle breaking out. Reckless fool. When Liao Feiyu saw Tianxi taking the initiative to attack him, his face was filled with coldness. With a wave of his hand, a shield and a spear appeared in his hands. He waved his spear and stabbed it at Tianxi. Boom! With a single move, the arena cracked open, and a burst of earth-attributed energy rushed toward Tianxi. Tianxi waved his arm, and numerous water-attribute swords flew out in all directions. Then, they quickly floated above his head and formed a sword formation. The sword formation directly met Liao Feiyu's attack. Bam, bam, bam. The sword formation attacked, and the sharp swords carried a powerful aura, directly breaking Liao Feiyu's attack. Following that, the sword formation continued to attack Liao Feiyu without losing any momentum. Earth, sky lifting. Liao Feiyu felt the power of Tianxi's attack. His eyes focused, and he directly raised his shield. The surrounding soil spread towards the shield, directly forming an incomparably huge and thick defense. Water, doppelganger. Water, sword mound. When Tianxi saw this, his eyes focused, and his body directly split into dozens of doppelgangers. Each doppelganger held a water sword in their hands, and they stood in a fixed position. Dozens of doppelgangers attacked Liao Feiyu at the same time. Seeing this, Liao Feiyu's face darkened. He did not use the bloodline weapon in his body immediately. If he used such a weapon right from the start, he would be looked down upon by others. He shouted, and the soil around him surged towards him. His entire body began to expand rapidly, and soon he became a 100-meter giant. The long spear in his hand also expanded more than 10 times under the cover of the soil. Liao Feiyu stared at Tianxi's figure with contempt, and the long spear in his hand swept with a terrifying aura. 21 swords. When Tianxi saw this, his expression did not change. His 21 doppelgangers suddenly turned into water energy and directly surged into the water sword in his hand. Instantly, the water sword shone brightly, and a stream of light streaked across. The 21 sharp swords connected together, and with a sharp edge, they directly met the long spear. Bam bam bam. A violent collision sound was heard. Everyone around could see that the long spear in Liao Feiyu's hand gradually turned into soil and fell to the ground. The water sword turned into water, attached to the long spear, and instantly attacked his huge giant arm. Damn it, what kind of weird attack is this? When Liao Feiyu saw this, his expression changed, and he quickly dodged. One of his giant arm was directly cut off. However, he was not injured. What? Liao Feiyu is being suppressed by Muri Tianxi. Muri Tianxi is so powerful. Liao Feiyu is at a disadvantage. What kind of swordsmanship is Muri Tianxi using? It's so powerful. Hiss, I can't even imagine this. Muri Tianxi is too monstrous. When the surrounding experts saw that Muri Tianxi had completely suppressed Liao Feiyu, they all opened their eyes wide and discussed among themselves. The youths of the Hidden Dragon and Young Phoenix group were even more shocked. How could there be such a terrifying existence among them? What? What kind of opportunity did Muri Tianxi obtain? In the seats of honor, the experts of the top tribes looked at Muri Tianxi with sparkling eyes, and they were somewhat shocked. What kind of opportunity could allow such a young man to possess such great strength? At this moment, Muri Inu, who had received the news, flew over with a pale face. When she saw the situation in the arena, she was also shocked. Muri Inu's parents and brother were also shocked and incredulous. The young man in the arena was their grandson? Nephew. Chapter 41-49. A piece of trash like you dares to harass my mother? You must be tired of living. In the arena, Tianxi fixed his cold gaze on Liao Feiyu with a disdainful look. The discussions and exclamations around the arena did not reach his ears. He only had eyes for Liao Feiyu. As soon as he finished speaking, he continued his attack. His figure flickered, and he split into several dozen doppelgangers, each holding a sharp sword in their hands. Dozens of doppelgangers surrounded Liao Feiyu rapidly. Earth, heavy strike, tremor, gravity suppression. Liao Feiyu stared at him with a cold expression. He let out a low growl and smashed the huge shield in his hand onto the ground. The ground began to collapse and tremble violently. Like waves, ripples spread out in all directions. At the same time, the entire space seemed to have frozen. A strong gravitational force filled the entire arena. It was a wide-range attack. Tianxi stood in the arena and instantly felt the gravitational force below him increasing to a terrifying level. His speed had been reduced by half. Tianxi's expression remained unchanged. With a wave of his palm, waves of seawater appeared out of nowhere and covered the ground. The seawater rose higher and higher, drowning Tianxi's figure. Swish! In the seawater, he was like a swimming fish as he continued his attack on Liao Feiyu. Liao Feiyu stared at him and let out a low growl. The long spear in his hand expanded again and he threw it towards Tianxi. Bam! Tianxi was in the water and his figure flashed instantly. Around him, water doppelgangers held sharp swords and formed a sword formation. Beams of light connected the sharp swords together. He has integrated the formation into his sword technique. What a strong sword formation! If the sword formation is formed, Liao Feiyu will definitely not be a match for Muri Tianxi. Beside the arena, a few old and middle-aged men appeared beside Gong Cheng Miao Miao. They looked at everything in the arena in awe. Great-grandfather, Daddy. Gong Cheng Miao Miao's younger brother shouted when he saw the sudden appearance of the group of figures. This Muri Tianxi either has a heaven-defying fortuitous encounter or is taught by a powerhouse. Otherwise, It would be impossible for him to reach such a realm and possess such powerful combat skills and experience. Gong Cheng Miao Miao's great-grandfather nodded and said, "Miao Miao, do you know Mu Li Tianxi?" "Great-grandfather? I didn't know he was so strong." "Great-grandfather, will he be all right?" Gong Cheng Miao Miao shook his head and asked worriedly. "No, his combat experience and reflexes are much better than Liao Feiyu's. He won't lose." Gong Cheng's great-grandfather shook his head and said, "That's good, that's good." Gong Cheng heaved a sigh of relief and continued to watch. To have such combat experience at such a young age, he must have an expert teaching him. An old man standing beside Gong Cheng Miao Miao's great-grandfather commented. The others nodded in agreement. Sky Sword Demon Ceiling. At this moment, Tianxi's cold voice rang out in the arena. On the arena, a huge sword formation was formed. The entire sword formation shone with a sharp luster as countless swords intertwined to form a huge pattern. The huge sword formation surrounded Liao Feiyu completely. One by one, the sharp swords flew towards him in a relentless attack. Bam, bam, bam. Liao Feiyu held the shield in his hand and fended off the attacks with an ugly expression. On the surface of his incomparably huge shield, cracks appeared one after another. Damn it, how can this guy's attacks be so strong? Liao Feiyu's face was cold. He didn't plan to use his bloodline weapon immediately. He wanted to rely on his own strength to kill Tianxi. If he used his bloodline weapon, even if he won, others would know that he relied on his powerful weapon to defeat Tianxi. But now, if he didn't use his bloodline weapon, he wouldn't be a match for Tianxi. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Just as he was thinking, the situation changed. Below him, sharp swords suddenly pierced through the soil under his feet and shot towards him. What? Liao Feiyu's expression changed when he saw this. However, he couldn't react at this moment. The sharp swords slashed at him, causing his 100-meter-tall body to quickly crumble. Pieces of Earth-type energy armor fell to the ground. The huge impact caused his heart to tremble violently. Fresh blood flowed out of his mouth. His body couldn't help but fly up into the sky. That Liao Feiyu is going to lose. He is going to lose so quickly. To be able to defeat someone at the same level, this Mu Li Tianxi is much stronger than I imagined. He is almost a half step into the Universe Lord realm. Some of the experts in the surroundings judged as they watched the battle on the arena. Liao Feiyu's father, grandfather, and the others all looked on with icy expressions. Mu Li Tianxi, don't think of defeating me. If I say I will kill you, I will kill you. Liao Feiyu vomited blood as he flew up into the sky. His entire body was in excruciating pain. His face was contorted and filled with a sinister expression. Liao Feiyu covered his chest with his palm and clawed. A khaki-colored hammer appeared in his hand. When the entire khaki-colored hammer appeared. When the earth hammer appeared, it emitted an earthen yellow glow. The water swords that were attacking him rapidly crumbled and disappeared in the face of this earthen yellow light. It was as though he had met a terrifying existence. Scram! Liao Feiyu's face was flushed as he swung the earth hammer downwards. Boom! The earthen yellow energy surged downwards and engulfed the entire arena. The illusory image of the earth hammer covered the entire arena. Tianxi's expression changed slightly when he saw this. All the clones around him gathered towards him. However, in the next instant, all the clones collapsed under the force of this energy. Tianxi raised the sharp sword in his hand. The sharp sword split into 8 blades and revolved around him to form a defensive barrier. However, this defensive barrier crumbled rapidly under the attack of the earth hammer. Fortunately, the earth hammer's attack had completely disappeared at this moment. Is this his trump card? Is this the treasure that the Xian Tu tribe expert gave him? Tianxi stared at the earth hammer and sensed the threat of death from it. However, there wasn't much of a change in his expression. His foster father had already told him about Liao Feiyu's supreme treasure. Now that he sensed its terrifying might, he wasn't worried at all. He had 100% confidence and trust in his foster father. Chapter 4150, Boom. A rumbling sound rang out in the arena, and a terrifying energy wave struck the defense around the arena. Liao Feiyu stood in the center with the earth hammer in his hand. A sandstorm slowly formed around him. Above him, an illusory image of an earth hammer condensed, exuding a powerful aura. The sudden change and Liao Feiyu's sudden counterattack made all the experts and disciples of the surrounding tribes slightly startled. What is this? What a powerful treasure! On the Muley tribe's side, the group of elders and experts, including Tianxi's grandfather, were shocked to see Liao Feiyu's sudden counterattack. They stared nervously at the earth hammer in Liao Feiyu's hand. This weapon isn't simple. No, this weapon is very, very strong. He's just a small disciple of the universe supremacy level. How could he have such a powerful treasure? An elder of the Muley tribe said with an embarrassed expression. As universe ruler level existences, they could naturally sense whether a treasure was good or bad. The earth hammer in Liao Feiyu's hand contained a terrifying amount of energy and power. Even the most powerful treasure of the Muley tribe was inferior to it. That shouldn't be the case. A disciple of such a level shouldn't have such a powerful treasure. Oh no. Another elder of the Muley tribe said with a gloomy face. When Tianxi's grandfather heard this, his expression changed drastically. His face was filled with worry and anxiety. Muri Iner's heart skipped a beat when she heard that. She quickly flew to Wang Xian's side. Mr. Wang Xian, will Tianxi be in danger? Muri Iner looked at Wang Xian, clenched her fist and asked. His son had suddenly displayed such a powerful and heaven-defying strength. Even as a mother, she did not know about his strength. This was definitely related to Wang Xian. Even if Tianxi's talent was heaven-defying, it was definitely because of Wang Xian that he could possess such strength and battle experience. Otherwise, it would be impossible for such a powerful existence to be born. Don't worry. There won't be any danger. Wang Xian looked at Muri Iner and gave her a faint smile. That's good, that's good. Upon hearing Wang Xian's words and seeing her smile, Muri Iner was completely relieved. Until today, she still didn't know the background of this mysterious young man whom she had saved. Fortunately, she could tell that Wang Xian was sincere about Tianxi and treated him like his own child. On the side, Tianxi's grandfather and the elders of the Muley tribe heard this. They looked at each other and then looked at the arena again. They had witnessed the mysteriousness and power of Tianxi's adoptive father. Not to mention anything else, being able to nurture Tianxi to the peak of the universe venerable realm was already very terrifying. Oh no, how could that guy have such a powerful weapon? On the Jioha tribe's side, Gong Cheng Miao Miao's younger brother exclaimed in surprise and stared nervously. Gong Cheng Miao Miao bit her lips and stared at him. Bloodline weapons? They're the most powerful treasures in every clan of the Mystic Earth tribe, aren't they? Only the most powerful seniors would have it, right? Tianxi is in trouble. Seeing this, Tu Jiangtong's expression changed slightly, and he said, You're right. Although he had a good relationship with Tianxi, he couldn't help him in this situation. He was only a fifth-order universe venerable, he was too weak. Furthermore, this matter concerned the Mystic Earth tribe and the Liao clan. How could he, a fifth-order venerable of the Tu tribe, meddle in the affairs of the Liao clan? Even if he looked for his father and grandfather, it would be useless. Some of the experts of the dead tribe looked at the earth hammer weapon and shook their heads indifferently, with a hint of mockery in their eyes. They naturally knew about such a treasure. It wasn't something a peak universe venerable disciple could possess. The experts of the surrounding tribes understood in their hearts. This was the Mystic Earth tribe, this was the Liao clan, and they were going to get rid of this monstrous kid. Little bastard, are you ready to die? Liao Feiyu stood there like an ancient war god. His gaze was fixed on Tianxi, and his face was filled with disdain. The powerful aura made him feel that he could even face off against a first-order sovereign realm expert. Around the ring, the other 8 geniuses who were ranked in the top 10 were frowning too. They knew that they couldn't fight against Liao Feiyu with such a powerful treasure. No, without reaching the universe sovereign realm, you can't suppress Liao Feiyu. one of the young geniuses from the dead tribe said, "A dead person can make you more arrogant." Tianci stared at Liao Feiyu, his expression unchanged, but his eyes were filled with a strong fighting spirit. "I will cripple your limbs first, then bury your head." Liao Feiyu's face turned cold when he heard Tianci's words. He raised the earth hammer in his hand, and the blood patterns connected. He waved his arm, and an earth python formed on the earth hammer, attacking Tianci. The earth python carried the strength of an invincible universe venerable. "Tianci, watch out." Below, Gong Cheng Miao Miao's expression changed when he saw the terrifying attack, and he shouted at Tianci on the arena. "Do you think you're the only one with a powerful treasure?" Tianci's eyes narrowed when he saw the earth python's power, and his body shook. A book slowly appeared above his head. On the cover of the book, there was a huge word, "Forbidden." The earth python let out a roar, swayed its huge body, and wrapped around Tianci. When the earth python came before Tianci and was about to wrap around him, the book of water forbidden spells emitted a faint ripple. A ripple of water rushed towards the surroundings. The ripple passed by, and the earth python's attack stopped instantly, as though time had been frozen. Bam! Following which, the earth python gradually turned illusory and completely disappeared. Tianci was shocked when he saw this. He had merely summoned the book and allowed it to hover around him. It was a simple treasure, yet it possessed such terrifying might. What kind of treasure did Godfather give him? What? Liao Feiyu's eyes narrowed when he saw this, and he looked at the unharmed Tianci in disbelief. "Die, die!" He raised the earth hammer in his hand and smashed it at Tianci. In the sky, an illusion of an earth hammer appeared. The entire earth hammer covered Tianci completely, and there was no room for him to escape. He raised the earth hammer with both hands and smashed it downwards. Boom! A loud explosion was heard. Tianci looked up, and waves of water energy surged into the Book of Water Forbidden Spells. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.